A man who was visiting a hotel walked up to the front desk to check in. The woman at the desk gave him his key and told him the way to his room. She mentioned that there was a door with no number that was locked and no one was allowed to enter. Especially, no one should look inside of the room under any circumstances. He followed the woman's instructions and went straight to his room, going to bed. The next night, his curiosity got the best of him. He walked down the hall to the door and tried the handle. Sure enough, it was locked. He bent down and looked through the wide keyhole. The air was cold, chilling his eye. What he saw was a normal hotel bedroom like his, except in the corner there was a woman whose skin was completely white. She was leaning her head against the wall, facing away from the man. He stared in confusion for a while. He almost knocked, but decided not to. He crept away from the door and walked back to his room. The next day, he returned to the door and looked through the keyhole. This time, all he saw was red. He couldn't make out anything besides a distinct red color. Perhaps someone was covering the door, knowing he had looked. At this point, he decided to consult the woman at the front desk. She sighed and said, "Did you look through the keyhole?" The man admitted what he had done. "Well, I might as well tell you what happened. A long time ago, a man murdered his wife in that very room, and supposedly, her ghost still haunts it. But these people were not ordinary. They were all white, except for their eyes, which were blood red." While I was in college, I would go home every other weekend to work a job I had since high school. I would drive directly from my campus, and from Friday, make it home. The drive was about an hour, and my shift was long. I decided to go back to my parents' house, which was out in the middle of nowhere. My parents weren't home at the time, and I got back from work. They typically spent their Friday and Saturday out at dinner. So, I had the house to myself. I pulled into my normal parking spot, got out of my car, and then turned to open the back door of my car to get out my various tools. That's when I noticed that the bathroom light was on. I asked myself, was that light on when I pulled up? It must have been, right? As I was contemplating the light and retrieving my tools, I noticed a very angry-looking woman standing in the window, staring at me. We stood there staring at each other for a good 10 seconds when my parents pulled into the driveway and distracted me from my staring down of the woman. By the time I turned back, the light was still on, but the woman was gone. At 2 a.m., a father wakes up in the middle of the night, grabbing his baby monitor, and walks to the desk in the corner of the room. He hears on the monitor his wife singing to their child. He cracks a smile to hear his wife say, "Go to sleep, go to sleep," when suddenly the front door opens and his wife comes in from a party night. When I was a child, my family moved into a 2-story home. I had a long day at middle school and decided to come home a bit early. However, I knew my mother would most likely be home. As I entered the dark house, I called out, "Mom?" And I heard a sing-song voice say, "Yes?" It sounded just like my mother. I called to her again as I began to climb the stairs, and I got the same response. Yeah? We were decorating at the time, and I didn't know my way around the maze of boxes going up the stairs. As I made it to the top, I saw the door, which contained my mother. As I was reaching for the handle, I heard the front door swing open, and my mother call, "Are you home?" in a cheery voice. I jumped back and started to run down the stairs, but as I glanced from the top of the stairs, the door to the room slowly opened. I saw something strange, like a face. I don't know exactly what it was, but it was staring directly at me.